what's up everybody?
Xin chào! That's hello in Vietnamese to hello all of our Vietnamese fans out there. Alright guys, today's topic will be common thoughts that go through each parent as we go through the journey of parenthood.
Alright, yeah, it's a doozy. We're gonna go through some serious ones and some fun ones just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny. I think a lot of you could probably relate to some of these thoughts, whether good or deep or dark. So we'll go through it all.
Or hopefully you can relate and we're not just crazy.
We're the Raw Parenting Podcast. This is where we speak the unfiltered truth. This is what new parents need to hear and what current parents can relate to.
Woohoo! Let's dive right in.
Let's dive.
Alright, so to start it off, I feel like this is when you're having your first baby, this is a very common thought for most women. Can I birth this baby? There is no going back, and I remember being so freaked out when the time got closer and closer and closer, and I was like, oh God, like I can't take this back. Like I have to, this thing has to come out, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just stay up there for the rest of his life.
Man, I wished at some point. So I was like, I'd rather just not. I know they talk about women being like just ready around like certain amount of weeks, and I was ready, but at the same time I was freaked out because I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And how am I getting this thing out of me? Like, It was just such a terrifying thought. So
birthing is so interesting because, like, so many billions of people have done it before us, but yet we still get freaked out about it.
I know, and I don't know. I mean, it's understandable, though, right? It's like a new experience. You don't know what's going to happen, and you get scared.
Yeah, especially when you have a, 7, 8, 9 pounder in you, and you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Nothing that large has ever come out, so how was it? And this is my first time? Cool.
Yeah,
nice.
So that was definitely the biggest thought for me right away.
All right, number 2 is, am I capable of being what my child needs? I feel like that's a fairly common one. Am I enough for my child? I don't know. Are you ever going to be enough?
I don't know.
Like, is that ever a thing?
Know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, it's...
Yeah, there's so much pressure. So much pressure.
Yeah, there's so much pressure. Never be ready. Never financially ready. Never mentally ready. Parenting is just one of those things that you learn as you go. You're never there in the first place.
Which leads to another thought, like, am I doing the right thing and am I meant to be a parent?
Oh, boy.
I've had those thoughts so many times where I'm questioning it. I'm like, oh God, like, I don't think I should be a mom. I'm not capable of it.
Yeah, especially on your worst days, right?
Yeah. And, well, I mean, I feel like all of these are on your worst days.
Right? Yeah, I would say most of it, yeah.
But yeah, I have those thoughts probably on a regular basis. Like, was I meant to be a mom? Yeah. I don't know, because I don't feel like I'm handling it very well, and I don't think I'm doing a good job.
Especially when you're just kind of stressed to the max. That's when you're kind of like, I don't have the patience to do this, so I don't know if I'm, like, meant to do this.
Yeah. Am I gonna gain patience at any point in this like journey? I don't know.
That's interesting about parenting. Like, even going back to the birthing thing, it's like everything that happens, like, you just have to do it anyways.
It's true. Right? Yeah, you don't get a choice anymore.
You don't get a choice to, like, raise your kid. There's no choice. That's the best thing about it, I guess. That's
true. Yeah, that's the thing that gets you through, is knowing that there's no way out.
No, there's like this inevitable force behind you that just keeps pushing you forward and be like, too bad. Mm-hmm. Too bad. All right, next thing is, how many kids can we handle, and should we add another one?
Ooh, man. I think we're really hilarious in this aspect because we're like...
Every kid, we're like, this is it. I'm done. I'm
so done with this.
Done.
Yeah, and then like a month later, we're like, a third?
Yeah, you
Do
know
we
what?
need another? Wait, am I back on the 4-kid train?
It's like the typical saying, right? When you have one, you can't just have one. You might as well have another one. You have two. Yeah. When you have two, you might as well have three.
It's like, well, what's wrong with three?
You have four.
It's like, well, you might as well, just keep adding more, you know?
But it's just like, where's the money coming in?
Yeah, which also, the money thing can lead to, can we financially provide for our children? And like, do we have enough savings for them started already? Because of how things are going. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Granted, I feel like sometimes they have more money than we do in our savings account.
Yeah, they do quite well.
Yeah, they do. The good old Chinese
savings accounts. Yeah, the red bags. Exactly. Like, are they even gonna use it? Mm-hmm. What if they don't use it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially when you're putting in that government one.
Yeah.
That gives them money for like school.
Exactly.
And we're like, what if they don't go to school?
Yeah, what if they...
Then we just lose out on all that money. So many thoughts.
I don't think you lose it. You just get it back, but they take back all the money they contributed.
Right.
Next thing is, this is a funny one. I'm sure a lot of you guys think about this one when you eat, is what if my child chokes?
Do you know how to, what's the method?
Oh, the CPR? What?
For choking, like, what's that?
Oh, the Heimlich remover. Yeah.
The Heimlich remover. Like, do you know that? Because...
On a child.
I sure don't. I mean, yeah, I know you showed me a video of it once, but I don't know if I'd be able to actually perform it myself.
Oh, I see.
I would be too stressed. So every time I think about it, I'm like, I sure as hell hope Tom is around because I don't know if I would be able to do it.
You're just going to see me just smack him.
Yeah, I know. You flip them up kind of with their stomach here. And then for small babies,
For little peanuts, we would probably do the Heimlich if she's old enough.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you start with a pat. You start with the pat. You really help them out. The heavy
pats.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then if you see that her face is going blue, then you...
I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. It's too terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to a fun one. Also, intrusive thoughts. And this is just like a broad range, but in general, I'll give you some examples of my intrusive thoughts because they're very dark and extreme. I'll be like carrying one of my children and I'll be going down the stairs and I literally think, if I fall and trip down the stairs and I end up hitting my baby's head, like there's going to be blood everywhere and I'm going to be... I guess I should warn people about this, but they're like their head's gonna be cracked open, or like another example is if they're brushing their teeth and like they shove it too far and it'll go like through their heads.
A lot of moms can really do this, right? Like my wife is not the only.
Right? Oh God, I'm just thinking like how psychotic I sound right now.
Yeah.
You don't have any of those.
I don't.
Oh man.
I just walk downstairs.
I wish I could do that. Oh,
it's like, what am I going to watch when we get down there? What are we going to do when we get there?
Oh, that is so nice to have a male's brain sometimes. Like, yeah, please comment below and tell me that I'm not the only one that thinks like this.
Please. Somebody.
For my sanity, can
just
someone please?
one person tell me
please relieve me from this stress.
Yeah, speaking of stress, are we teaching them enough on a daily basis? Am I setting a good enough example?
Yeah, this is one that happens on a regular basis as well, especially since we had Peanut home and she wasn't in daycare for past 2 years of age. So yeah, regular occurrence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I feel like, it is really regular occurrence, especially when it's stuff that you can't handle. And you're just like, oh boy, I hope you don't take after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
For sure. Or like, am I teaching them their alphabets already? Should I be teaching them alphabets? Like, do they need to know numbers and counting and all of this stuff? Like, it's so stressful to think of those milestones and where your kids need to be at certain ages.
Yeah.
So that's another thought is like, am I progressing my child enough at the age that they are?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
But you made a good point. I mean, that does lead into like, what if I end up passing on my own anxieties or like depressional thoughts and like things like that onto my kids? Like if they see me having these anxiety attacks, are they gonna like do that in the future? I feel like with anxiety specifically, because I deal with that a lot, is if I keep progressing and improving those strategies that I implement for myself, I think that will in turn go back to our kids. So if they ever had moments where they did experience anxiety, like I could teach them the proper tools to get out of it. And so I think the better we work on ourselves, the better it can portray for our kids. So even though we do have these like, things that we don't really like about ourselves, it would just be easy to teach them tools instead moving forward.
Do you remember some of your first anxieties?
I think anxiety for me was getting butterflies in my stomach.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, like that was the feeling of anxiety for me because I was nervous about something.
Right.
Because really, if you lump up what anxiety is, it is nerves, right? Yeah. You're just anxious about something.
Yeah.
So
you can't control.
Yeah, so I guess like that is kind of the first step of a child having anxiety, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
But as an adult, you have like way more responsibilities and you're not just thinking about like, oh God, I have to go do this play on stage. Like I'm nervous about it. Yeah. Instead, it's like real life stuff that like smacks you right in the face.
I feel like a good example of us kind of using those methods right now would be little Peanut. She would now wake up at middle of the night and she would just kind of sometimes wake up really upset or crying, and she would go run towards her room, and she would just be kind of sometimes hysterical, but she just wants to sleep in her own bed because it makes her comfortable. And I feel like right now we're doing a good job of really investigating what she's going through and really comforting her going through. So do you mind speaking some of your techniques that you help?
Sure, yeah. So for example, last night, so if you've watched our previous videos, we have one that is about sleep training our children. So this is kind of separate from that, obviously, because we are dealing now with a 2.5-year-old who is dealing with dreams at this point. So she is technically not sleeping through the night. So I just want to disclaim that right now, but it's because of dreams that she has been developing. And so at this point now, I'm getting up every night basically and dealing with her having these upset times and wanting to sleep in our bed. And so basically what I'm doing is she will come and I will just stay as calm as I can. And that is not very easy when I'm woken up at 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning. And sometimes she'll just like have tantrums for like 15 minutes. And all I can do is wait for it to finish. Like, Tom's sleeping, our other baby's sleeping, the cat, the dog, like everybody's sleeping, and she's in our room right next to our other baby's room just crying hysterically. Yeah. And there's no point in me trying to calm her down at that point because she's not listening to me, first of all. Second of all, she's just like wanting to kick and flail, and like there's no point trying to just deal with that. So I just move aside, let her go through the tantrum. And then after that, she kind of calms down. And then I'm like, okay, like, let's go back to your room. And like, I have her sometimes sit with me or I'll give her a hug because that calms her down and makes her feel more safe. And so basically I go through like, can you tell me why you don't want to sleep in your bed? Like, is there something going on? Is there something upsetting you? And at the same time, I'm kind of thinking, ooh, like it's difficult because she's also 2.5. Like she doesn't know how to communicate properly, right? So I just kind of give options, but I don't want to always give negative options. Like, are you having nightmares? Like, I don't want to do that because then that just sets her up to thinking that all of her dreams are bad. So I'm constantly saying like, are you having like imagination and stories going on in your head when you're sleeping? And then she will like say yes, and it's so sweet because I'm like, oh, and who knows if she's actually experiencing these things? I don't know, but she does say yes. And so I kind of explained to her, like, they're just stories. Everybody has stories when they go to sleep, most of the time. And I just try to break it down and make it as simple as possible that she understands that it's not something to be scared of.
No, that's so beautiful.
I don't know if it's working or not, but that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, just staying calm and explaining the whole situation. Like, you're already ahead of the game. So it's beautiful. Yeah,
so basically, like I said, back to depression and anxiety and all that stuff. Yeah, just calm down, take a breather, and try to set them up for positive thinking instead. Yeah. Just like what we would do for ourselves, hopefully. And avoid kind of like pushing down their feelings and tell them that they're going to be okay. Yeah, I really try to refrain from saying, you're okay, you're okay. Because I don't know that they're okay. Yeah. I don't know what they're feeling.
Explain to me how you're feeling.
Exactly.
Use your words.
Yeah. Instead of saying, you're okay, I would rephrase it to say, you are safe with me. Everything is going to be okay. Like, let's talk about it when you're ready, kind of thing. All right. So moving on to the last of the serious kind of thoughts would be, am I overprotective or too lenient? We can attest to it because I'm
she's overprotective and I'm too lenient.
Yeah, I'm that helicopter mom,
I'm like, do your own thing. Like,
seriously.
Like, figure out your own life. So bad.
Yeah, we're both opposite spectrum, so it's pretty funny.
Yeah, hopefully our kids will be just right in the middle.
Yeah. For me, I am aware that I am overprotective and I really try to let them experience things. Like, for example, if we are at the park, I will let her do her thing, even though I'm terrified inside that she is going to fall, smoke her face, and crack her brain open. And I just let her do it. But I also kind of like, am there in case something does happen. Whereas I feel like you're just like, go, be free. And like, if you fall, you got it. And I'm just like, no, like I need to be there, which I guess, is that still helicopter hovering? But I don't, like, I'll let her experience it, but I don't want her to get extremely hurt at the same time. Right. If I can prevent my child getting hurt, I will do that. I don't see what's wrong with that. Yeah, but for sure. Yeah. Within reason.
Yeah, and I'm more of coaching. Like, like even was it a couple of days ago, we were at the park. She was climbing up those really tricky ropes. I'm watching her and I'm just coaching her through, like put your foot on there, make sure you hold on to the thing. And then eventually she got up there.
Yeah, and she is really good at it, but it still freaks me out that, like, if I'm not there to catch something really bad,
Yeah.
and that's why. But that links with the intrusive thoughts, everybody. Like, I have extreme intrusive thoughts, as you've heard. Tom does not. So I think that leads to different outcomes of how we act.
Right.
Because I see things that could really go wrong, and Tom doesn't even acknowledge those things.
Okay.
So that would be, I would say, why.
I guess let's move to a little more fun stuff, okay? Now we're going to do the funny thoughts that we think of.
Okay, so our first example is, are you going to be addicted to your phone? Like, I feel like we have this very often because we'll be looking at our phone and then I look up at her and she's looking at me and I'm like, let me just put that away.
Yeah.
Because I am partially addicted to my phone. So it portrays in the fact that I'm thinking you might be addicted to your phone. And how do I cut this right away?
I wonder if our parents had the same thought when they read a newspaper. No, you can't.
No, not the newspaper.
It's a cool thing to read, actually.
And also you're reading, and they say if you do, like, you model what your child is seeing from you. So if you're going to be reading, your child is more likely to want to read more.
Yeah, yeah. But the TV was the thing back in our day, right?
The TV, yeah, that's
my dad would literally wake up TV on.
Yeah.
And it'll stay on.
And so what are you going to do? You're going to go and watch the TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But if he was reading, maybe you would have picked up a book or something.
Yeah, if he was reading newspaper. I don't know. But we do really try to lessen our phones in front of our kids. Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
We really do, yeah, unless we have some other work obligations or things like that we need to take care of. But what I do with little Peanut is if I am on my phone and Peanut sees me on my phone, I will look at her and I will say, hey, Peanut, I'm sorry. I just need to send this message quickly. So I'm going to be distracted for like 5 seconds. Let me finish this. And then you have my full attention. And then so I'll finish my message, put my phone away. And then she's a lot happier because she understands that, okay, like, you're not ignoring me. You are listening to me, but you just need a minute.
All right. Next thing will be, why did I have kids? I mean, those thoughts do pop up, right? And
all the time. So in the difficult times, right? You're like,
times.
God, why did I do this to myself?
Exactly. It's always in difficult times.
All right. The next one is, are they going to be good kids or bad kids? Like, are we going to have a serial killer child?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, those thoughts do run through my head.
Those thoughts definitely run through our heads.
Especially when they start hitting each other and you're just like...
And so when Peanut smacks, she laughs. And I'm immediately like, serial killer vibes. You're giving me serial killer vibes. Yes. Or another thing is, okay, we have this huge bug infestation in our house. So, or not in our house, but in the outside of our house. And we spray these bugs down and basically a massacre murder of these bugs. And Peanut is like, I want to spray bugs and kill bugs. And I'm like, cool. And then I'm like, wait, okay. I'm like, listen, Peanut, like, this is for protecting our house, okay? We don't need all of these bugs getting in our house. Like, this is why we need to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's.
I mean, is our animals going to be next? Like, I don't know. That's what they always say with serial killers, right? So,
right.
Man, does your head spiral? Because I'm just like freaking out. Like, oh man, she is already into killing bugs because we've been killing bugs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, which leads to the next thing is, will my kids hate me in the future? Yeah, I feel like this one definitely went through my head because it's, you know, you kind of like, there are days where you're just like, Matt, like, leave me alone, and there are days where you just gotta like put the parent foot down, you gotta punish them, and you're just like, man, hopefully you're not gonna hate me too much in the future. But it's also nice, she can barely remember what she did yesterday, so it's just like, okay, all right,
yeah, but
cool.
Remembering thoughts and having feelings are two totally different aspects. Right. So let's keep that in mind. Yeah. They might not remember certain situations, but they will remember how they feel. But yeah, that being said, there's lots of times where I'm like, oh gosh, am I being the best parent I can be at all times so that you turn out okay in the future and you don't hate me? It's a scary thought, right? Like, you just never know. You never know what's going to happen.
And this is where, like, self-development really come inside. Because, you know, you've obviously been through some trauma yourself in your childhood and you want to break that cycle and this and that. So
yeah, definitely trying to break the cycles.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. Like, as long as you're trying in your own life and your kids see that you're trying, there's nothing better than that. You don't want to stay stagnant in your life. You want to constantly be moving forward. And yeah, again, if you show that to your kids, like, I think they'll turn out okay.
Yeah, that's true. Because your kids are growing, right? So you got to grow with them.
Exactly. Okay, leading on to our next one about the future. Like, are our kids going to take care of us in the future.
Yeah.
Like when we're old and frail, and hopefully we make it that far.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're hip enough that they want to stick around us, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you talking about like when we're in like old folks' homes or?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last one we're going to go through is, do I want to raise kids in a world like this today?
Yeah.
We have these thoughts all the time. Even for our next one, I'm like, ooh, like if we have another, the world is getting pretty scary out there. I don't know if I want to raise another one.
Yeah, right. So true. Like with just everything, with political stuff and
just everything. It's crazy, but I remember my mom being like, I said the same thing when I was having kids. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So it's just a generational thing. Like the world is always changing. Everything is going on, blah, 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 blah. But my mom always said this to me: if good people stop having good kids, then the world would be full of bad people. And I'm like, yeah. And I've thought about that ever since. So that is what moves me forward to having kids in today's age. That's the end of this video. If you like it, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. We post every Wednesday. We would love to have you guys stick with us through this amazing journey, yet difficult journey. If you haven't seen any of our previous videos, you should definitely go check that out as well.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around. To those of you that have, we are going to begin with Raw Talk now. So let's lean back, take a chat, see how things are going.
All right, so how's it been going? How's the week going?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know that I've had a rough week a little bit. A few days ago, I literally had to storm out of the house almost, where I was like, I need a break. And it was just like, I don't know. It was so overwhelming that like Peanut is just in this weird smacking phase, and she just is not listening to anything that I'm saying. And like eventually that takes a toll on you, and I just can't, like, I just lose it so much because I'm just at a loss of what to do at this point. And she just does it and she laughs about it, and it freaks me out. Like going back to the video that we just did, you know, like it's scary when she laughs and doesn't take things seriously, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, yeah, it's really hard. So I just remember like it was a constant thing over and over and over and over again throughout the whole day, as it usually is, right? Leads up to that all the time. Yeah. And and I knew that you were going away too. And so I was like really stressing because I was like, man, I have to take care of the girls by myself while you're gone. And I was just freaking out. And yeah, I was like, I have to go. Like, you're going to have to let me leave.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then, I went to a lake and I had a good time, just calm by myself. And
yeah. I think the important lesson is see that your partner is in distress, and if they need to go somewhere, if they're not saying anything, they're gonna go somewhere, you just gotta just push them out of the house and just get away from here. I'll take care of everything else. But yeah, that was really nice for you.
It was very needed, although like it just never feels like enough time. Right. But like, yeah, it was just, and then it was hilarious because I ended up running into my mom and stepdad at the time, and they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, what are you doing here? But yeah, so it was good. But yeah, like I just remember being so stressed and like feeling so lost in what to do, because I've mentioned this a few times before, but like I get to a state where I don't even recognize myself by my actions, the words I'm using, like the anger that I have. Yeah, it can be scary for sure to see myself in a state that I don't recognize. And that's usually when I have to I need to leave immediately. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. And then just dealing with like the dreams and all this stuff and not knowing, I feel like I'm just in a place where I just don't know how to handle the situations that we're in right now.
Yeah. Because and
you're just starting all over. Exactly.
Yeah. Like who knows how long she's going to keep doing this for. We're just doing the best we can. And we can't just be like, no, you need to stay in your room. Stop coming to the room. We can't do that. So interesting.
Yeah, and it's almost at the point where it's like, do we need to be doing that? Like, should we be locking her in her room? Like, I literally got to that point last night where I was like, listen, Peanut, like, I am tired now. Like, you're frustrating me. I'm getting upset because you're not listening. And like, I need sleep. I need sleep. You need sleep. And yeah, and I'm just like, I'm trying to reason with a 2-year-old, and it just... Like, I don't know. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what else to do, and nothing seems to be working.
Right.
And then you start feeling like beat up because you're like, there's no getting better. Like, there's no way out of this, clearly. Or I just don't know how to get out. I don't see a way out.
Right.
So, and that takes a toll on you mentally for sure. So, anyway, that's how I'm doing. How are you doing?
Well, yeah, like I just came back from my boys' bachelor party, and that was pretty awesome. Left on a Saturday and came back on a Sunday. Yeah, you know, it was like, of course, it's always a good time to kind of get out of the house and kind of like be yourself again.
Yeah, like I'm so happy you had that. For
yeah,
sure.
it was a lot of fun. But I mean, but it was like, it was kind of interesting because at the end of the night, we were in a place that had a pool, and it's just like, we were all just like chillaxing. And I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I see this family with kids, like the mom and the dad and the two girls. And it was one of those moments.
Wait,
like,
they had two girls too?
Yeah, they had two girls as well.
Cute.
A little bit older, but they were still younger. And their grandpa was there, and it was just like, at that moment, I was just like, oh, like family is definitely what I just needed, because I just miss my girls and you at that specific time right there. And so I was like, oh, I kind of wish my little girls were here just swimming with us and, with their grandpa. And so, yeah, it was, that was a really nice moment to have. And then also, like, I don't know, I told the guys this, because, like, out of the 6 guys out there, only me and this other buddy, like, had kids.
Oh, yeah.
But he wasn't at the pool at the time. It was just me and then my 2 buddies. And I just, like, man, it's so weird that, like, I'm at a point where family is so much involved in my life that, like, it's all I want to talk about, and I don't know what else to talk about with.
Well, that's because that's all we experience every single day is life with our kids. Like, we don't have, oh yeah, I went to this party the other night, and like, oh, me and my friend went on this trip. It's like, no, we're just home all the time, like packing up and going to Costco. I mean, that's our outing.
Funness, yeah. But it's just different. It's different when you talk to your single buddies who don't have kids, and it's just like the different topics that are there.
Yeah, for sure. And they won't ever understand until they do have kids, if they have any.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then that's why, like, people always say when you have kids, like, your friends that don't have kids, you kind of end up separating a little bit from them because they will just never understand, and you will honestly have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems,
No, yeah, that's so true. And on the drive back, so it was me and my other friend who doesn't have a kid. And he was just kind of like, oh, so what are you going to do, when you get home? And I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see my kids. Like, I kind of miss them and stuff like that. And then for him, he was like, yeah, I'm going to go probably drink some soup and take a big nap. I'm going to do this and that. And I'm just like, oh, right. Yes, you can do that if you're single.
Yeah, man. I definitely miss those days sometimes where I'm like, ugh, just doing whatever I wanted with no obligation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like, he gets to go home, relax, and I get to go home. I got make up all the time that I've been gone.
Yeah. But then there's also those stages of people saying, like, I wish I had what you had. Like, for example, my brother, he's like, I want to be where you are. Like, it sucks waking up alone and not having anything to live for in the day. Like,
yeah, for sure. No, I'm definitely not jealous of him at all.
Yeah. I'm kind of jealous sometimes.
A little bit sometimes.
It would just be so nice if I could just, like, do my own thing.
I'd rather be in my shoes than theirs, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But it's hard to, like, remember that all the time, because you definitely get in that victim stage where you're like, like, I just never get time for myself, and yada, yada, yada,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, because, like, at the same time, I was like, yeah, like, it'll be nice to go home and nap, but at the same time, I was like, oh, I get to go see my girls up my way, so it's just...
Yeah, for sure.
It was a big perk. Yeah, anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, guys.
All right.
See you next Wednesday.
Click.